Members take oath of affirmation. Secretary General, please.
Kumari Anushka, who stands elected from Rohtak, constituency of Haryana of Youth Parliament, will now take oath or affirmation. Kumari Anushka, please. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take oath?
In Hindi. मैं अनुष्का जो युवा संसद की लोकसभा की सदस्य निर्वाचित हुई हूँ, ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारतीय संविधान के प्रति श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगी, देश की प्रभुसत्ता और एकता को बनाए रखूंगी तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाली हूँ उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगी।
Shri Atulya, who stands elected from Kanpur, constituency of Uttar Pradesh of Youth Parliament, will now take oath or affirmation. Shri Atulya, please. Sir, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take oath?
In English. I, Atulya, having been elected a member of the Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, that I will faithfully discharge duty upon which I am about to enter.
Honorable members, as we meet today, it is my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of Shri Vishnu Singh Giri, our great Indian cricketer. He played Test cricket for India from 1966 to 1979. He gave various performances of glory to all of us. He was known for his outspoken and forthright views on cricketing matters. He passed away on 23rd October 2023 at the age of 77 at Leeds.
Madam, I rise to pay my tribute to Shri Bishan Singh Bedi, whose death has been deeply mourned by all. He was a great cricketer and a true critic for the cricketing world. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1970 and C.K. Naidu Lifetime Achievement Award in 2004. He was born on 25th of September 1946 in Punjab. His contribution in the field of enriching Indian cricket is unparalleled. I would like to extend my deep condolences to his family.
Madam, I associate myself with the tribute paid by you and the lady of the house. I had the privilege to meet with Shri Bishan Singh Bedi ji at various occasions. He was a well-known cricketer and at the same time a great human. He played total 67 test matches and took 266 wickets. He also captained the country in 22 test matches. We had a good cricketer and good human being in him. I would like to associate myself at my party in sending our condolences to the bereaved family.
The House may stand in silence for a short while to express our deep sorrow. Secretary General may convey the message of condolences to the bereaved family.
Yes, madam.
Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
Madam, I have pleasure in introducing to you and through you to the House my colleague, the new minister, Mr. Karthik, Minister of Telecommunications, Ms. Janvi Verma, Minister of Rural Development. Thank you, madam.
Now the question hour begins. Question number 101, Kumari Kiran, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, will the Minister of Education be pleased to state A. Whether the government has categorized the destitute children, B. If so, the facts and the categories thereof, C. Has the government planned to set up any hostel and scholarship to such children separately? Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Education Minister, please.
Honorable Madam, regarding A, yes. Regarding B, the government has categorized the children as a population group who are migrants due to urbanization and consequently in search of economic security and fall victims to drug peddling, drug abuse and physical exploitation. They are orphans and destitute and are compelled to lead their lives on street without shelter. Regarding C, yes madam, government is separately thinking on setting up hostels and a scholarship for destitute children. A separate guideline is issued in this regard to fix the modality. Thank you, madam.
Now supplementary question, Kumari Kiran, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I would like to know whether the government has engaged any agency which is working in this concern. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Madam, yes, the government has laid down many programs to assist the individuals identified under this scheme and has constituted a managing committee to ensure the delivery of services to such children. States, union territories, autonomous bodies set up by the government under a statute or societies registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860, educational institution and registered non-government organization are also included under this program. Thank you, madam.
Next supplementary question, Kumari Vanshika, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I would like to ask the Minister about the pattern of assistance provided by the government to destitute children and procedure of applying. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Madam, financial assistance not exceeding rupees 5 lakh per annum per child in case of union territories and 8 lakh per annum per child for other states. The 100% of it to be used for following activities. First, city land survey for setting up hostels for such children. Second, 24-hour drop-in shelter for children with the facilities of safe drinking water, night shelter, health and hygiene, bathing and recreation, etc. Third, non-formal education programs imparting basic literacy. Fourth, occupational placement for such children. Any of other programs consisting with the rights of children have been covered under the prescribed act. Procedure of applying. The application for recommendation by the government should be sent to Deputy Secretary of Civil Works. Thank you, madam.
No more supplementary questions, please. Question number 102, Kumari Neha, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Finance be pleased to state A. Whether the government is aware of skyrocketing prices of essential food items, oil and vegetables in the country. B. If so, reasons therefore. C. Whether the government has set up any monitoring division to control the prices of essential commodities. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Finance Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, regarding A, yes. Regarding B, the world has suffered through one of the most deadliest pandemic in the history of human civilization in the past 2 years. And this pandemic has resulted in shutting down of various MSMEs, and hence the production has been decreased significantly. Moreover, the Russia-Ukraine war, which has been going on till date, has aggravated the problem by disrupting the global supply chain. Vegetable prices in India experience hike due to volatility in production and supply-demand mismatches. These are the main reason for the pricing. Regarding C, yes, Price Monitoring Division in the Department of Consumer Affairs is responsible for monitoring prices of selected essential commodities. Activities of the division includes monitoring retail and wholesale prices and spot and future prices of selected essential commodities on a daily basis. Thank you, madam.
Now supplementary question, Kumari Neha, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to seek clarification by the Finance Minister regarding steps taken to control the inflation. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, government is using wage and price control to fight inflation. Our government is also resorting to contractionary monetary policies to control inflation by reducing the money supply within the economy via reduced bond prices and increased bank rates. Thank you, sir.
Next supplementary question, Kumari Sophia, please.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to ask the Minister if the government is having any plan to help those who are below poverty line, keeping in the mind the current inflation and high rate of unemployment. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Finance Minister, please.
Honorable sir, yes, there is a scheme named Pradhan Mantri Khadya Suraksha Yojana, which was started when India went into pandemic and stringent lockdown 2 years back. Further, keeping with the concern and sensitivity towards the poor and vulnerable sections of our society, we are committed to extend it further. And at the same time, our government is working on creating more and more job opportunities to bring stability and security in the life of common people. Thank you, sir.
No more supplementary questions, please. Next, question number 103, Kumari Khushi Pandey, please.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, will the Minister of External Affairs be pleased to state A. Whether the government is aware of the implications of Israel-Palestine conflict on the country. B. If so, details thereof. C. Stand of Indian government at this conflict. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of External Affairs, please.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, regarding A, yes, regarding B, India has a significant defense relationship with Israel with defense procurement and technology cooperation. The conflict may impact this relationship as Israel focuses more on its security needs. During the conflict, Israel supplies the most military equipments to India, with the military business between two countries worth around 2.1 billion US dollars. India is dependent on oil imports from the Middle East, and any escalation in the region could affect energy prices and subsequently India's economy. If countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran get involved in ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict, then definitely there will be direct consequences over India's energy supply, economy and investment. Regarding C, in 2017, the Indian Prime Minister for the first time visited Israel, and in 2018, he made official visit to Palestine for the first time. We are very clear on Palestine. We support a two-state solution with a two-state living peacefully side by side. India's policy is clear. We condemn terrorism but do not support indiscriminate reprisal bombing. Thank you, Madam.
Madam, I would like to seek clarification on the impact on India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor IMEC due to current Israel-Palestine conflict. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the conflict has the potential to affect the stability of the Middle East, a reason of strategic importance to India. An escalation of hostilities could have implications for India's interest and engagement in the region. Instability in the region can create security challenges and affect the smooth operation of IMEC. Thank you, Madam.
Next supplementary question. Srilal Jain, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to ask the Minister regarding the humanitarian aid provided to the people of Palestine. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, our government has contributed 35 million US dollars over the last 2 decades to the UN Work and Relief Agency for Palestinian refugees. Apart from this, Indian government has also sent 6.1 tons of medical aid and 32 tons of disaster relief materials for the people of Palestine. Thank you, Madam.
No more supplementary questions, please. Honorable members, I have to make an announcement on the behalf of honorable members of the House and on my own behalf. I have great pleasure in extending a welcome to Her Excellency Ms. Zoya, Deputy Speaker of American Parliament, Mrs. Jennifer, Chairperson of Economic Welfare Government, and Mr. Joseph, Member of Senate Parliament of America. They are on visit of India as an honored guest. It is very high power delegation. The delegation arrived on 3rd November 2023. They are now sitting in the special box. Wish them a happy and fruitful stay in our country. We also convey our warm greetings and best wishes to them, to the people of America. Yes, Member?
Madam, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by leading magazine of the nation. While commenting on Public Account Committee, the magazine has attributed dishonest motives. And I request you to allow me to raise questions on that matter now.
Have you given notice of it earlier? You may give your notice along with a copy of magazine cutting and I shall consider it. You cannot bring a surprise on me like this.
I have already given notice of it earlier at 10 a.m. today.
It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my view.
Thank you, Madam.
Now papers to be laid. Honorable Minister of National Resource Development, please.
I beg both in English and Hindi version under subsection A 619B of the Constitutional Act 1956. B. Review by the government on the working of Natural Mineral Development Corporation Limited for the year 2022-2023. C. Annual report of NMDC Limited Andhra Pradesh for the year 2022 to 2023 along with the audited accounts and the components general thereon. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Railway Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of each of the following papers, both in English and Hindi version, under subsection A. Review by the government on the working of modern operating system of Indian Railways for the year 2022. B. Annual report of Indian Railways Eastern Headquarters for the year 2022 to 2023, along with the audited accounts and the components general thereon. Thank you, Madam.
Secretary General to report message from Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary of Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament in accordance with the provision of Sub-Rule 6 of the Rule 186 and procedures and conduct of business in the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of the Finance Bill 2023, which has been passed by the upper house at its sitting held on 29th August 2023. Thank you, Madam.
Secretary General to lay on the table a copy of the bill as passed by the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I lay on the table of the House a copy of the Finance Bill 2023, which was passed by the upper chamber. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Minister of Labour to introduce the bill. Minister of Labour, please.
Honorable Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce the bill. Further, to amend the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952. Thank you, Madam.
The question is that the leave be granted to introduce a bill further to amend Employees Provisions Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. Those who are in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Honorable Minister of Labour, please.
Madam, I introduce the bill. Thank you, Madam.
Now the House will take up consideration of Compulsory Military Training Youth Bill 2026. Minister of Law and Justice, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move that the bill to provide compulsory military training for youths be taken into consideration. Madam, this bill is broad, seeing many factors. It has been a great idea and it had been felt since long to have compulsory military training for youths in our country to foster discipline and character building. It emphasizes teamwork and leadership, which can contribute in the progress of our country. Military training creates a sense of national pride and unity among young citizens, instilling a shared purpose and responsibility towards the country. I would rather like to term our country as a country of young people. Actually, 2 crore males and 1 crore female attain military training significant age every year. This is a huge number, and even if a section of them have to be trained, it would require a lot of efforts. And this government, note that this government is ready to do this. Many countries like Israel, Russia, Switzerland, Austria, Denmark, Norway, Brazil, and Iran have conscription including some national services. Therefore, this bill has been brought. It will instill a sense of patriotism. Compulsory military training can also make people stronger, both physically and emotionally. It promotes equality because people of all the classes will be trained in the same manner. This in turn makes people feel united despite having class differences. I would like to read some of the important provisions of this bill. The important provisions of this bill are as follows. Number 1. 2 years military training will be compulsory for everyone above 18 to 25 years of age, irrespective of their gender. Number 2. Military training completion certificates will be must for getting the jobs in both private and government sector. Number 3. Minimum subsistence allowance will be provided during the training. Number 4. Trained youths will be assigned 1 month compulsory military duties in the border areas. Number 5. Indulgence in any extremist group after receiving such training will make them liable to action under rules of the law. Number 6. Anyone who willfully denies such training other than on medical ground will be liable to be prosecuted. Number 7. Setting up a separate regulatory body for such training purposes. Honorable Madam, I am confident that all the members of the House, irrespective of the party affiliation, will welcome the bill wholeheartedly and will help to ensure that such training is given to our youths. I would like to conclude by saying, दिल में हौसलों का तेज और तूफान लिए फिरते हैं, दिल में हौसलों का तेज और तूफान लिए फिरते हैं, आसमां से ऊंची हम अपनी उड़ान लिए फिरते हैं। वक्त क्या आजमाएगा हमारे जोश और जुनून को, वक्त क्या आजमाएगा हमारे जोश और जुनून को। हम तो मुट्ठी में अपनी जान लिए फिरते हैं, जान लिए फिरते हैं। Honorable Madam, with these words, I now to move compulsory military training bill for youths 2023 to be taken into consideration. Thank you, madam.
The motion moved that the bill to provide for compulsory military training youth bill to be taken into consideration. Kumari Manisha, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं इस विधेयक के समर्थन में खड़ी हूँ। हाल ही में कुछ घटनाओं ने हमें यह सोचने को मजबूर किया है कि भारत के प्रत्येक नागरिक को सैन्य प्रशिक्षण दिया जाना चाहिए।
किताबें थमाने की जरूरत है, बंदूकें नहीं।
हाँ महोदया, यह उन्हें उग्र बना सकता है।
जी महोदया, यह बिल आत्मघाती साबित हो सकता है।
Please take your seat. Please maintain the decorum of the house. Honorable member, please continue.
हाल ही में कुछ घटनाओं ने हमें यह सोचने को मजबूर किया है कि भारत के प्रत्येक नागरिक को सैन्य प्रशिक्षण दिया जाना चाहिए। इस दोहरी चुनौती से निपटने के लिए एक सबल सेना का होना आवश्यक है जो इनका मुकाबला कर सके। अतः हर राष्ट्र का सैनिकरण हो, इसकी आवश्यकता है। समर विज्ञान की शिक्षा ग्रहण करना हर तरह से उपयोगी है। इसमें संदेह नहीं कि यह लोगों को अनुशासित करती है। इससे हमारे युवाओं में सेवा, त्याग, आस्था एवं निष्ठा जैसे कई उत्तम गुणों का विकास होता है। सैन्य प्रशिक्षण विदेशी आक्रमण के समय लोगों को शारीरिक रूप से चुस्त एवं तंदुरुस्त रखता है एवं बौद्धिक क्षमता में सुधार लाता है। असल में युवाओं को अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण दिए जाने से न केवल हम अपनी सेना की गिनती लाखों में बढ़ा लेंगे जिस देश की शत्रुओं से लड़ेगी, अपितु हम आर्थिक, सामाजिक, स्वास्थ्य के मोर्चे पर लड़ने में अधिक समर्थ होंगे। महोदया, दुश्मन की हर बात का जवाब होते हैं सैनिक, वीरता की खुली किताब होते हैं सैनिक, देशभक्ति की मिसाल होते हैं सैनिक, जरूरत पड़े तो देश की ढाल होते हैं सैनिक। महोदया, मैं इस विधेयक का समर्थन करती हूँ और आशा करती हूँ कि माननीय सदस्यगण इस विधेयक को पास कराने में अपना बहुमूल्य योगदान दें। धन्यवाद।
कुमारी दीप्ति, प्लीज।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं इस बिल का विरोध करने के लिए खड़ी। महोदया, जहां तक अनुशासन का सवाल है, मैं बस इतना कहना चाहती हूं कि यह हमारे संस्कार, मूल्यों और परिवेश पर निर्भर करता है। अगर हमारे संस्कार, मूल्य, परिवेश ठीक है तो कोई कारण नहीं बनता कि नवयुवक अनुशासनहीन होगा। सिर्फ कुछ सालों की मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग से क्या हम उनकी विचारधारा को बदल सकते हैं? एक तरफ हमारे समाज में लाखों नवयुवक बेरोजगार हैं, उन्हें 2 वक्त की रोटी नहीं मिल रही है। ऐसे में उनके हाथ में बंदूक थमाना, सैन्य प्रशिक्षण देना उचित होगा। हो सकता है ये प्रशिक्षित नवयुवक देश के खिलाफ ही बंदूक उठा ले। हो सकता है ये प्रशिक्षित नवयुवक मर्सनरीज की तरह काम करने लगे, यानी भाड़े के सैनिक बन जाएं तो क्या होगा? कभी इस दिशा में सोचा है आपने? महोदया, कभी इस दिशा में सोचा है आपने कि अगर ये प्रशिक्षित नवयुवक प्रलोभन में आकर अगर आतंकवाद की तरफ चला जाए तो क्या होगा? महोदया, इससे देश की बहुत बदनामी होगी। महोदया, अगर अनुशासन सिखाना है तो शिक्षा के माध्यम से नवयुवकों को अनुशासित किया जाए। महोदया, यह बहुत ही गंभीर विषय है। कहीं यह मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग उस भस्मासुर की तरह साबित ना हो जाए जो भगवान शंकर से वरदान लेने के बाद उन्हीं को मारने के लिए दौड़ पड़ा। महोदया, अंत में मैं इस बिल के विषय में जो आशंका मेरे मन और मस्तिष्क में है उसके लिए यही कहना चाहूंगी। यहाँ तहजीब बिकती है, यहाँ फरमान बिकते हैं। यहाँ तहजीब बिकती है, यहाँ फरमान बिकते हैं। जरा तुम दाम तो बोलो, जरा तुम दाम तो बोलो। यहाँ ईमान बिकते हैं, ईमान बिकते हैं, ईमान। धन्यवाद महोदया।
हमारी महिमा प्लीज।
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I rise to support the bill, Madam. Compulsory military training not only makes our youth healthy, but also helps in getting rid of bad habits like drug addiction. It will also check the spreading of Naxalism. A disciplined youth is a need of the hour. We must shape them by such training. Military training will make our youth more patriotic and will instill a sense of sacrifice. It will also help to assimilate the sense of heroism in our youth. This will also work as deterrent against potential adversaries, promoting stability and security. In addition to defense, military trained individuals can be valuable during natural disaster in providing humanitarian aid. Many countries have already adopted this, which shows its utility and relevance. I would like to conclude by saying, अब भी जिसका खून न खोला, खून नहीं वो पानी है। अब भी जिसका खून न खोला, खून नहीं वो पानी है। जो देश के काम न आए, वो बेकार जवानी है, वो बेकार जवानी है। I support this bill wholeheartedly. Thank you, ma'am.
कुमारी भारती प्लीज।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, अजीब विडंबना है। क्या कहे, कैसे कहे और कहे बिना भी कैसे रहे। वाह रे वाह सरकार, युवाओं को जब अच्छी शिक्षा और रोजगार नहीं दे पा रही तो आपने सोचा क्यों ना युवाओं के ध्यान गुमराही कर दिया जाए, ताकि चारों तरफ एक नई चर्चा शुरू हो जाए और देश का ध्यान प्रमुख मुद्दों से हट जाए। अंग्रेजी में एक कहावत है महोदया जी, इफ यू फेल टू कन्विंस, बेटर कंफ्यूज। महोदया, क्या सरकार अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के नाम पर देश के युवाओं को गुमराह करना चाहती है? अरे, देश के बेरोजगारी दर पर भी कभी ध्यान दिया है आपने? आपको करना क्या चाहिए? क्या हाल हो गया है, युवाओं के हाथ और पेट दोनों खाली हैं। खाली पेट सर का बोझ लिए युवा दर बदर की ठोकरें खा रहे हैं। आपको करना क्या चाहिए? तो आप सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के नाम पर उनके स्वर्णिम भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ कर रहे हैं। आप उनके मन और मस्तिष्क को उग्र बनाना चाहते हैं। आखिर आपकी मंशा क्या है? महोदया, देश की रक्षा के लिए हमारे पास एक सबल सेना तो है ही, फिर आप ऐसा बिल लाना क्यों चाहते हैं? भारत भूमि तो बुद्ध की भूमि है, ना कि युद्ध की भूमि। ये भ्रम और तिलिस्म अब नहीं चलेगा। ये बिल देश के युवाओं को दिग्भ्रमित कर देगा और उनके सपनों को चकनाचूर कर देगा। महोदया, ये देश 140 करोड़ लोगों का है। इस देश की सेवा के लिए बहुत से युवक स्वेच्छा से जाने को तैयार हैं। आप उनको एक मौका तो दीजिए सरकार। अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण उस देश के लिए तो ठीक है जिसकी जनसंख्या कम है, परंतु ये भारत जैसे विशाल जनसंख्या वाले देश के लिए सर्वथा अनुचित है। अतः मैं इस बिल का विरोध करती हूँ और आशा करती हूँ कि यह सदन इस बिल को पास करते समय मेरे विचारों को ध्यान में रखेगा। धन्यवाद महोदया।
हमारी प्रीतिका प्लीज।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, आज मैं इस लोकतंत्र के मंदिर में खड़ी होकर एक ऐसे मुद्दे के बारे में बात करने जा रही हूँ जो मेरे लिए अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। युवाओं के लिए अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के
विरोध में मैं अपने विचार रखना चाहूंगी। महोदया, सैन्य प्रशिक्षण को अनिवार्य बनाने की योजना हमारी युवा जनता को भयभीत और अनुचित तरीके से शारीरिक और मानसिक पंगु बना देगी। युवा जनता का इस तरह के अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण का सामना करना गलत है क्योंकि इससे उनके अधिकारों और स्वतंत्रता का उल्लंघन होता है। युवा जनता को सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के लिए बाध्य करना उनकी पढ़ाई और अन्य स्वर्णिम अवसरों को नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है। महोदया जी, कहीं आपके इस बिल की वजह से बच्चे कंचों की गोलियों से खेलना छोड़कर बंदूक की गोलियों से खेलना शुरू न कर दें। महोदया, यह उनके भविष्य को संघर्षपूर्ण बना देगा और तो और इससे उन्हें अपने सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए समय नहीं मिल पाएगा। सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के नाम पर जवानों को दुर्गति की ओर ले जाना सही नहीं है। हमें अपने युवाओं को संघर्ष की जिम्मेदारी से बचाने के लिए, उन्हें समर्थ बनाने के लिए अधिक शिक्षा और प्रशिक्षण के अवसर प्रदान करने की जरूरत है। और महोदया, इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग एनसीसी के माध्यम से हमारे नवयुवकों को पहले से ही प्रदान की जा रही है। आज के समय में हमें अपने युवाओं को ज्ञान, सृजनशीलता और नैतिक मूल्यों के साथ सशक्त बनाने की जरूरत है, ना कि उन्हें शारीरिक युद्ध की तैयारी कराने की। मैं सैन्य प्रशिक्षण के अनिवार्य होने के विरोध में यह कहना चाहती हूँ कि हमें अपने युवाओं को सशक्त, स्वतंत्र और समर्थ नागरिक के रूप में स्थापित करने के लिए एक संवेदनशील और विचारशील दृष्टिकोण अपनाने की जरूरत है। धन्यवाद महोदया।
मिनिस्टर ऑफ होम अफेयर्स प्लीज।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं अपनी बातों को इन 4 पंक्तियों में रखना चाहूंगी। मेरी सांसें मेरा लहू मेरे बदन में रहा, कि मेरी सांसें मेरा लहू मेरे बदन में रहा, मेरा मुल्क हर वक्त मेरे जहन में रहा। मैं मरा तो अंदाज भी कुछ गजब का था, कि मैं मरा तो अंदाज भी कुछ गजब का था, कि तब भी ये तिरंगा मेरे कफन में रहा, तब भी ये तिरंगा मेरे कफन में रहा। महोदया, अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण से हमारे युवाओं में देश प्रेम और राष्ट्र भक्ति की भावना का विकास होता है और युवाओं को देश के लिए समर्पित होने का मौका मिलता है। महोदया, इस तरह के प्रशिक्षण युवाओं में स्वाभिमान और आत्मविश्वास दोनों को बढ़ाते हैं। वे अपने आप को दूसरों से बेहतर तरीके से समर्पित करने का विश्वास रखते हैं। महोदया, ऐसे प्रशिक्षण हमारे युवाओं में शारीरिक दक्षता को बढ़ाने में भी अपना बहुमूल्य योगदान देते हैं और साथ ही साथ सैन्य प्रशिक्षण हमारे युवाओं में नेतृत्व करने की क्षमता को भी बढ़ाते हैं। यह युवाओं की दक्षता को संपूर्ण रूप से उत्कृष्ट कर देने में भी सहायक होता है, जो उनके अपने जीवन में भी काफी उपयोगी होगा, चाहे वह जिस भी क्षेत्र में हो। अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण हमारी राष्ट्र सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से भी अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग युवाओं को रोजगार का अवसर भी प्रदान करती है, चाहे तो वो युवा सेना में भी स्थायी रूप से रोजगार प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। अनिवार्य सैन्य प्रशिक्षण यदि युवाओं के लिए अनिवार्य हो जाता है तो यह उनके व्यक्तित्व विकास और देश की सुरक्षा दोनों के लिए महत्वपूर्ण होगा। अंत में मैं यही कहना चाहूंगी कि यह एक क्रांतिकारी बिल है जो इस देश के युवाओं के लिए मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। अतः मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करती हूँ और आशा करती हूँ कि यह सदन इस बिल को पास करने में अपना बहुमूल्य योगदान देगा। धन्यवाद महोदया।
मिनिस्टर ऑफ लॉ एंड जस्टिस प्लीज।
Honorable Madam, I am grateful to all the members who have given their constructive criticism on it. I am grateful to all the advices that have been given to us. I would like to answer some of the questions raised by the honorable members regarding similar structure in the form of NCC is working. There is no denial of the fact, but the magnitude of the military training will be more intensified than NCC to make our youth a better soldier. Another fear put forward by one of the members was that such trained youth may resort to terrorism or may work as mercenaries. For that, I would like to say that such fear is hypothetical only and bears no concrete ground. Also, this bill has all the preventive measures incorporated within its framework to curb such issues. I would like to conclude by saying, आओ झुककर करे सलाम उन्हें, आओ झुककर करे सलाम उन्हें जिनके हिस्से में ये मुकाम आता है। कितने खुश नसीब होते हैं वो लोग जिनका खून वतन के काम आता है, वतन के काम आता है। Honorable Madam, I request the House to pass the bill. Thank you, Madam.
Question is that compulsory military training for youth bill 2023 be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now we will take clause by clause consideration of the bill. Now the question is that clause 2 to 7 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment in clause 5 by Kumari Alina. Are you moving it?
No, madam. In the view of reply given by the minister, I am not pressing my amendments. Thank you, madam.
Now, question is that clause 2 to 7 stands part of the bill. Those who are in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Clause 2 to 7 stands part of the bill. Now, the question is that clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stands part of the bill. Those who are in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Minister of Law and Justice, please.
Honorable Madam, I move that the bill be passed.
Question moved that the bill is passed. Those who are in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is passed. Now the House will take private member resolution. Kumari Janvi to move the resolution.
This House recommends that the government should take steps to prevent the misuse of social media platforms by children and youth, make institutional arrangements to curb this problem. I would like to place the following suggestions before the government. Firstly, there should be a separate privacy law to safeguard children and youth from potential data breaches and unauthorized use of their personal information on social media platforms. Secondly, to implement age verification measures on social media platforms through Aadhaar authentication to restrict access to age-inappropriate contents and services, ensuring that the young users are not exposed to harmful or inappropriate materials. Thirdly, establishing a user-friendly and easily accessible reporting mechanism on social media platforms for users to report cyberbullying. Controlling the misuse of social media platforms by children, students and youth requires a balanced approach that protects their rights and privacy while ensuring a safe digital environment. Here are some potential steps the government could take as a part of legislation. Speaker Madam, the misuse of social media and victimization of our youth will ultimately be the future of our country. Youths are assets of any country, so is with us also. I insist to take the appropriate steps to bring checks and balance in it. This is quite misguiding for the young generation and leading adverse effect for the society at large. Thank you, ma'am.
Kumari Khushi, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं प्रबुद्ध सदस्य द्वारा पेश किए गए संकल्प का समर्थन करती हूँ और आपके माध्यम से इस बिल को सामने लाने के लिए बधाई देती हूँ। महोदया, सोशल मीडिया का विस्तार जनसंचार के क्षेत्र में एक नया आयाम है, लेकिन साथ ही यह समाज और विशेष रूप से हमारे बच्चों के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा खतरा बन गया है। बच्चे प्रभावशाली दिमाग के होते हैं, उन्हें आसानी से लुभाया जा सकता है क्योंकि वे अपने कार्यवाही के लाभ और नुकसान को नहीं समझते। मेरी राय है कि सरकार को इस खतरे को खत्म करने के लिए गंभीर कदम उठाने चाहिए जो विभिन्न सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए हमारे बच्चों को दिया गया है। मैं सरकार से यह अनुरोध करूंगी कि वे राष्ट्र के भविष्य के लिए इस खतरे को खत्म करने के लिए गंभीर कदम उठाएं एवं प्रासंगिक कानून बनाएं। हमें इसे तत्काल प्रभाव से रोकना चाहिए जो विभिन्न सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए हमारे बच्चों को दिया गया है। धन्यवाद महोदय।
Honorable Madam Speaker, I would like to thank Ms. Janvi for drawing our attention towards this menacing threat towards our spring. This is really wasting their time and money. Youths can be seen wasting their time, money and health in this useless pursuit. They are killing their time through Facebook instead of keeping their faces on books. Through Instagram, they are so much into real life that they have forgotten they have a real life as well. It is the youth only which is engaged in unnecessary trolls and cybercrime. If our youth and children keep on doing such nonsense just for the sake of entertainment, then those days are not far away when we may face lack of quality human resources in our country. In this regard, I would like to give two suggestions. Number one, government should make laws and fix accountability of social media platforms for content moderation, ensuring that harmful or age-inappropriate content is promptly removed. Number two, resorting to such features on social media platforms that may allow parents to set time limits on their children's social media usage to prevent excessive screen time. In schools and colleges, various awareness programs must be organized among the children so they can learn and understand about this threat. With the various NGOs must be engaged in such works which may aid in mitigating such issues. Short films, nukkad nataks and various other activities must be organized among the common people so they can learn and understand about this threat. With these words, I would like to thank Ms. Janvi once again. Thank you.
माननीय महोदय, सबसे पहले मैं संकल्प की प्रस्ताविका कुमारी जानवी को सदन के पैनल पर इस तरह के ज्वलंत मुद्दे को लाने के लिए धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी। यह इस समस्या के खिलाफ उनकी चिंता और भय को दर्शाता है। सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म के उपयोग ने हमारे बच्चों में नैतिक मूल्यों को कम कर दिया है। वे वास्तविक दुनिया की तुलना में अवास्तविक दुनिया में अधिक विश्वास करने लगे हैं। महोदया जी, अजीब विडंबना है। नाम तो है सोशल मीडिया का फेसबुक, जबकि फेसबुक के चक्कर में आज के युवाओं का फेस ही बुक से हट चुका है। इंस्टाग्राम पर पूरी दुनिया बसा रखने वाले युवाओं को अपने ग्राम और तहसील का नाम भी याद नहीं है। शायद वे अपने ग्राम की जगह इंस्टाग्राम के निवासी बन चुके हैं। आज के युवा एक्स यानी ट्विटर की आवाजें तो दिन भर सुनते रहते हैं, मगर सुबह सुबह चिड़ियों की ट्वीट सुनना भूल गए हैं। व्हाट्सएप के चक्कर में क्या क्या बट्स डाउन हो रहा है, इसका भी ख्याल उन्हें नहीं है। वे गैर प्रासंगिक गतिविधियों में खुद को संलग्न करने में अपने मूल्यवान समय को नष्ट कर रहे हैं। वे मानसिक रूप से बीमार व असामाजिक होते जा रहे हैं। आभासी दुनिया में उनके हजारों दोस्त हैं, मगर वास्तविक दुनिया में वे लगभग अच्छे और सच्चे मित्रों से परे हो चुके हैं। इस संबंध में मेरे दो सुझाव हैं। पहला, सरकार को माता पिता, अभिभावकों, बच्चों और युवाओं को सोशल मीडिया के संभावित जोखिमों के बारे में शिक्षित करने के लिए विभिन्न सार्वजनिक जागरूकता अभियान चलाने चाहिए। दूसरा, सोशल मीडिया की गणना करने के लिए एक निश्चित उम्र से कम उम्र के युवा उपयोगकर्ताओं के लिए माता पिता की सहमति की आवश्यकता का प्रावधान होना चाहिए, ताकि माता पिता अपने बच्चों की ऑनलाइन गतिविधियों से अवगत हो सके। धन्यवाद।
Honorable Information and Broadcasting Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I congratulate the mover of the resolution by Kumari Janvi, as well as the another honorable members who have spoken on the resolution on focusing at the threat caused by social media on our impressionable minds. The purpose of my interventions is only to place before the House the various efforts made by the government. There is no denial of the fact regarding this. Government is planning to establish a platform which will ensure our children from online predators. Government is planning to identify such predatory accounts and will take action against them. Government is further thinking to establish partnerships with various social media companies to develop and ensure safety measures that align with the country's laws and regulations. In addition to this, our government is promoting research and data collection to study the impact of social media on our young individuals. To initiate evidence-based policy making and establishing a regulatory body for the continuous monitoring of trends and challenges. This regulatory body will also work for effective blocking and reporting mechanism to address such issues promptly. Apart from that public awareness, campaigns are being launched to educate every section of society regarding the judicious use of such platforms. I hope these efforts would be able to pacify fear and anger of our honorable members in view of the efforts undertaken by the government to meet this problem. Madam, through you I request Kumari Janvi to withdraw her resolution. Thank you, Madam.
Kumari Janvi, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I am grateful to the honorable members for lending support to my resolution. In view of the assurance given by the honorable ministers and action proposed to be taken, I hope that the government will take all the stringent measures to eliminate this problem. Therefore, I may be allowed to withdraw this resolution. Thank you, Madam.
Has the honorable members leave of the House to withdraw her resolution? The resolution by leave of the House is withdrawn. The House is adjourned to meet tomorrow at 11 a.m.